American Born Chinese is a graphic novel by Jin Luen Yang. The message of the graphic novel is the acceptance of identity. There are three main characters that are included in this novel. One of them is Jin Wang, a Chinese teenage boy which nonetheless has lived in America his whole life. In his new modern American school, he's being discriminated for his physical appearance from the moment that he has Chinese characteristics. In this video, I will focus on demonstrating Jin's acceptance of his own identity and nationality through time. Everything begins from the moment that Jin starts to notice Amelia Harris. From that moment on, she became a tangible presence in Jin's life. He would spend time analyzing her theoretical feelings for her and imagining different scenarios where they are together. Amelia is initially very close to an American boy named Greg, knowing him from preschool, which leads and erases emotions of jealousy, which in turn causes Jean to analyze what Greg has that he doesn't, concluding it to his hairstyle. From then on, Jean changes his hair by making it curly like Greg's, which represents a classical American hairstyle. The following day, he appears in school with his broccoli hair, and Wei Chen, his best friend, is wondering the reason why Jin changed his hairstyle, as he cannot understand why he would initially want to be someone he is not, which is an example of Jin rejecting his own nationality. The same day at school, Jin finds the courage to ask Amelia to go out with him, to which she responds positively, ensuring Jin that it was due to his change in hairstyle. The author tries to convey to the audience that Jin is rejecting his identity and tries to change himself into the American type of guy by changing his physical appearance. Jin's belief that his change in hairstyle affected Amelia's opinion on him positively reassured his belief that changing into someone that he is not himself is beneficial for him from Chinese to American. This is the reason why when Jin was in his first date with Amelia Harris doesn't change his American hairstyle. During his first date with Amelia, Jin has worries about his first impression. The author made the character of Jin to use deodorant even though he had never used a product like that before. Afterwards, he makes his first move by putting his arm around Amelia. The author has created the character of Jin that way to show change of physical appearance and behavior by making him care more about himself and how he acts when he meets an American girl and starts to acquire feelings for her. He has used the stereotype that the majority of American guys are using the hygiene rules to be maintained clean, and secondly, the fact that he put his arm around Amelia made the audience think that he is trying to act like the classical American guy. After a couple of days at school, Greg went up to Jin and asked him to stay away from Amelia as he had seen them together that day at the cinema. He thinks that Jin is not a good influence on her, and that's why he doesn't want him to hang out with her since they are almost in high school. This demonstrates that Jin's surroundings still see him as the Chinese guy, and the audience can notice the surprise and disappointment from his gaze at Greg because he believed that he looked more American from the moment that he has made changes in his physical appearance. On page 182, the author shows Jin during class time thinking about his conversation with Greg, but with the opposite results. These opposite results are him imagining about how he could have rejected Greg, who initially represents American culture. He was angry at American culture, but he was too caught in the moment, so he couldn't reply and tell Greg his actual opinion. Jin Luen Yang focuses on Jin through the use of color. Everything around the character is colorless and only Jin is being colored. Jin's physical expression conveys anger to the audiences as onomatopoeia has been used. All the organic lines that come off Jin's head are spread around the classroom, and the use of the yellow color, which represents hate, has been shown on pages 182 to 183. Later on, Jin meets Susie Nakamura, Wei Chen's girlfriend, and makes a sudden move to kiss Susie. Jin was compelled to do this when Susie finally opened up to him about the same issues Jin faced. The feeling of not being alone overpowered Jin's sense of boundaries, inevitably leading to the kiss. When Wei Chen finds out about the occurrence, he goes to Jin's house for a confrontation. Jin, however, reacted with anger, which reflected his prior conversation with Greg. This makes the audience believe that Jin has been affected by Greg's behavior, but also make them think that he is being mad and disappointed at himself as he didn't find the courage to talk to Greg honestly. He's at the night, he wishes to be an American guy with American looks and an American name. His wish comes true. He looks at himself at the mirror and experiences happiness because that's all he wanted his whole life. He gives himself a new name, Dan, a name that sounds American and matches his new appearance. The author wants to convey to the audiences that Jin forfeited his soul and changed his Chinese appearance. That way, he's rejecting his only friend Wei Chen and also his nationality and identity. Although, after a meeting with the Monkey King, when he was still Danny, it was the time for him to reveal his true form, such as the Monkey King transformed from Chinky to Monkey. Jin finally accepted his identity after his conversation with the Monkey King when they were both in their true forms. The Monkey King talked to him about his 5 years of imprisonment beneath a mountain of rock, and that could have only saved himself if he had realized how good it was to be monkey. The author, by making the Monkey King talk to Jin about his identity and the mistakes he had made in the past, is trying to change Jin's opinion and also to prove that the authentic always wins at the end.